Now I can see you. Can you see me?
I can't see the video, but that's okay. If I saw every single one of them, then not a problem. So, 9 a.m. Eastern, ready to get started. A lot of you have questions about the overall process, and then we'll go through those. We're also on Facebook Live for those that couldn't attend right at this time. So my name's Robert Earl. I've been with Keller Williams since 2003. When I joined Keller Williams, we were 9,500 associates in the U.S. and Canada. We just announced that we're over 177,000, and we're the number one real estate company in the world as far as agent count, number of sales, and total sales volume. So that says a lot about the company being a training company and now a training and technology company that happens to be in the business of real estate. So a lot of you have questions about the process of getting your license. Some of you are already in school, and so then it becomes the next transition of, okay, great, I've gotten this license, now what do I do with it? And I'm going to cover all of that. I talk pretty quick. I'm going to refer back to the website yourcbl.com, yourcbl.com, and be able to connect you. I'm an independent agent with Keller Williams. I've served as a coach within Keller Williams and also in the past was a team leader of a market center. I'm also a successful real estate agent myself, actively selling, already been booking home showings this morning. So I'm coming at it from that perspective, and my focus is to have the conversation with you that I wish somebody would have had with me when I first got into real estate. So Natasha, welcome. I see that you're on board, and a couple other folks have dialed in. A couple of you are muted, not a problem. Okay, so every state has a requirement that you go through a real estate pre-licensing course and that you pass the test, whether it be for the course and then a secondary test that's administered by an independent testing agency. Some states allow you to take that test, take the course on an online basis. Others require a classroom only. South Carolina, for example, is notorious that you can only take the course in a classroom setting. Let me explain something about the real estate course, because a lot of people get freaked out about what school do I take, what do I do, what do I not do. You are taking the real estate course for two reasons and two reasons only. And one of them is not to teach you how to sell real estate. You're taking the course to be able to satisfy the hours that are required, and then you're taking the course in order to pass the test. It will not teach you how to sell real estate. That's where Keller Williams comes in. A couple examples that I'd like to give. It's going to ask you things like, on the 21st of July, a property sells. How much taxes does the seller pay? How much taxes does the buyer pay? What are the prorations from that? Is it a debit or a credit? Give me a break. When you become a real estate agent, you're going to have title companies that do those calculations for you. Yes, as a real estate agent looking out for your clients, you need to be able to review that information and have the principles of real estate to be able to understand it. So you're going to need to be able to, for lack of a better term, regurgitate the information to be able to answer the question as to what the calculation is and whether or not that shows up as a credit to the seller or a credit to the buyer, etc. Another example I like to use is fair housing. In practice, don't discriminate against anyone. You will be just fine. You'll stay out of trouble. But the real estate course is going to want you to know what year was the fair housing laws passed, and what are the protected classes, and what agency does someone report to, and what are the fines and penalties for that, because they're trying to scare you to not discriminate. And then they'll also tell you what organizations are legally allowed to discriminate. A private, say, religious organization that owns a private home, they can rent that out to only their members and discriminate against particular races or colors, creeds, etc. They're allowed to do that. So you need to be able to know the difference and to be able to, again, give that information back on a multiple choice question. That's the purpose of you taking the course, is to be able to understand, to comprehend. When you're signing up for a course, you'll be able to, I would recommend that when you sign up for the course, you also sign up for a test prep module so that you get the sample test questions so that you can take them over and over and over again. Now, how do I find a real estate school? You go back to yourcbl.com, yourcbl.com. At the very top of the page, there is a link for schools. You pick your particular state, and then you'll be given two options. Well, two options if the state allows online courses. You'll be able to pick an online course, and you could sign up today and get your login and get started. Or you'll see a link for every single state. I've created a link that goes back to the state-approved list of real estate schools. So a couple of you had as your questions, I want to take an evening course, or I need to take a weekend course. You're going to need to check the schedule out with the real estate schools. Last I checked, there's over 5,000 different real estate schools across the country. You're going to need to know your specifics in your area with your schedule to be able to go in. So this is always a good point for me to take a bit of a break. I know a couple of you are muted. Does anyone have any specific questions on the classes and the schooling aspect of it? Speak up. You can put it in the chat. If not, I see David unmuted. So, David, you got a question there?
Yes, I was wondering, so we still take the class off on the side, if you will, and then we come back to Keller Williams, or you're going to get into all that?
I'm going to get into that, but you are exactly correct, because no matter what brokerage you worked with, whether it was a mom and pop brokerage, whether it was, say, the balloon company, whatever it is, a local or regional brokerage, you have to, the necessary evil that the state has is that you go through the real estate course. And those are independently administered. Some local Keller Williams offices, I can't keep track of every one of them of the 700. Some of them do have affiliations with real estate schools, and I'll talk about how to make that connection in just a bit if you wanted to go that particular route. There's really not a huge benefit to it. You just have to go through the hours of the course and then be able to pass the test. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
Great. So you're in the middle of the course. You get about halfway through the course. For most of you, that's the time that I'm going to make a connection for you. You're going to get back in touch with me, and I'll get you all my contact information where I can make a connection with the Keller Williams office. If I made a connection with every single one of you that signed up, the offices would be inundated. And frankly, I already know, and I hope that every one of you that's on this call or this video, that you prove me wrong. But there will be a percentage of you that are just putting your toe in the water, and you really are not going to pursue this as a career. And frankly, we would be wasting our time if we met individually with every single one of you. So, that being said, when you get to the point where you have signed up for the course, you're committed to this, you're working your way through, that's when I want you to get back in contact with me, and I'll get you connected with the local Keller Williams office, because they're going to take the next steps with you. And I don't want you to do it too early, because I need you to pass the test. I can't get you confused with, as soon as you get in touch with the Keller Williams office, I know what's going to happen is you're going to get excited about working with buyers and sellers and all of the training opportunities that Keller Williams has. You're going to want to start paying attention to that, and you're not paying attention to your course, and you're not passing, pardon my French, the freaking test. That makes sense to everyone? It has to all the people that I've talked with so far. So what Keller Williams will then help you do is, think of it this way. When you go through the course, you're going to pass the course. The testing, the class course is going to notify the testing company that you have passed the final exam and that you're eligible to take the independent testing course. when you take that independent test, you're taking it at the same location that general contractors are taking their test, that beauticians are taking their test. It is a private testing center. And in that location, once you have passed, and here's an interesting fact, they don't let you know what your score was. They just strictly let you know whether you passed or failed. So once you've passed, they then report to the State Real Estate Commission that you have passed, and they're now waiting for a brokerage to claim your license. So David, does that make sense to you? I know you're muted out, but Teresa, is this making sense as to the steps that you're going through?
Yeah, so far.
Okay. So the brokerage is then going to help you fill out the paperwork to file and be licensed in good standing. They're also going to help you fill out the paperwork, and this isn't their first rodeo. If they grew from 9,000 to 177,000 agents, they've helped a lot of brand new agents before. So they're going to help you also get set up with the local/state/national association of realtors. That's going to be important because they're the ones that can give you access to in most cases, the multiple listing system, where you can post properties for sale and you can search for properties that are listed for sale. And they'll also give you access to the lockbox system. Now it's time for me to talk about cost for just a bit. Your real estate course and you're signing up for the National Association of Realtors, state and local association, your MLS dues and your lockbox dues for the first year. As a rule of thumb, you can factor in that's going to be about $1,500, depending upon your location. If you're out in California, it might be a bit more, $1,500 to $2,000. The course you would have to pay for right now. Some states, the online course is as little as, say, $200, $250. But the other fees are going to be due to activate your license. Is there a payment plan for that? And the answer is no. You're starting a business. This is your investment. Instead of you going out and getting one of the kiosks in the mall and having to buy inventory, or if you were a Arbonne representative and having to get your initial makeup, in the case of real estate, you have to get your license. And your license gives you the opportunity to then go hunt for inventory, meaning listings or buyers to work with. So, any questions on that finance portion of it?
Could you run over the like the lockbox, activation of license, and what else that fee is entailed?
You're joining of the Realtor Association. So you're becoming a member of the National Association of Realtors / the State Association of Realtors / the Local Association of Realtors. So in my area, I live in Pinellas County, which covers St. Pete. I belong to the Pinellas Realtor Organization. I belong to the Florida Association of Realtors, and I belong to the National Association of Realtors. I pay one fee to the Pinellas Association. They cover the other organizations. But I have to be a member in my area. I have to be a member of the Realtor Association to be able to get into the MLS.
Gotcha.
And every year, those dues come up that I have to pay them. So I pay my MLS on a quarterly basis. I pay my lockbox access on a monthly basis, but there is that upfront fee. All right, so now we've worked with the company. We've gotten through the course. We've done our testing. We passed our independent national / state exam. We're getting signed up with the paperwork. Why Keller Williams? Well, Keller Williams happens to be a technology and training company that happens to be in real estate. And let me talk about some of the subtle differences, and I'll answer questions as we go along with this. Our focus is not on building the brand of Keller Williams. Our focus is on building your career, your business to fund your life. Our training is focused upon putting you into productivity, i.e. selling homes, because when you sell homes, we have a commission split basis, and I say we as the collective, but you'd be splitting with your local market center. And by splitting with your local market center, that's where they make money and they have their operations to be able to pay their expenses, etc. Does that make sense?
Yes.
A lot of companies, their focus is upon the brand. They have a feeling, and they'll say to you that because the brand is successful, you have an opportunity to be successful. Because we're running ads on the side of buses, because we're sponsoring the traffic report, you have an opportunity to be successful. And yes, that company might be generating some buyer or seller leads that they'll be more than happy to sell back to you, that they'll charge you a higher split when you get those particular leads. Keller Williams has had a philosophy that you're the brand. You're the one that's going to have the relationships with individuals that want to do business with you. And we would rather teach you how to fish so that you never go hungry versus giving you a fish and you come back like a little bird a week later with your mouth open. So our fees that are collected, and a brokerage makes money off of the agents hustling, our fees are reinvested into training. So much so that 2 of the last 4 years, Training Magazine has named Keller Williams the #1 training organization, not just in real estate, but across all industries. And this year we were inducted into the Training Hall of Fame. We put our money where our mouth is, and we have production from our agents. Now, does this guarantee success for you? And the answer is no. Real estate is an equal opportunity, unequal reward business. We're going to give you, I came up with this one around the holiday season and I keep using it. We're going to give you, we, the collective Keller Williams Training, Keller Williams University, and our classes that are taught within the local market centers, supported by KW Connect, the online videos that you'll be able to watch. This training is going to give you a recipe for sugar cookies. And invariably, there are agents that get the recipe and then they turn around and try to make the cookies and leave sugar out of it. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be pushy. I've never been pushy. I've never been, I'm a professional and I follow up and follow through so that when someone wants to act and buy or sell their home, that I have trained myself up to be their best option. And if they choose to work with somebody else, I understand that. I appreciate it. Then I need to focus on doing lead generation and finding another buyer or another seller. Period. This is the one day out of the week that I take a period of time in my schedule now, that I take a period of time that is not focused from 9 a.m. to 11:30 on finding buyers and sellers. And the more focused I am on doing that, on taking care of my most important thing during the day, the more successful I'll be. So let me transition right now to part-timers. Can you sell real estate part-time? My first inclination is to go John McEnroe on you and say you cannot be serious because you really can't provide a level of service, or you can't have the focus of time. But I'm not the one to ever be able to say can't. So David, I'm going to pick on you for a second or two. You were talking about, I'm going to do this part-time to transition in.
Right.
Your hustle and your focus, if you want to make this dream a reality, is going to have to be more intense than you've ever had in your life. You're going to have to do your 9 to 5. You're going to have to come home. If you've got a partner, significant other, you're going to work out with them that dinner's already taken care of, that you've crock-potted some meals, or you've taken care of things in that way. You're going to take care of the kids, etc. And then starting at 6:30, 7 o'clock, you're going to crack open a Red Bull or a Monster. And you're going to focus from 7 to 9 reaching out to people, asking if they need real estate help. You're going to be extremely focused on that. And from 9 to 11, you're going to do emails and you're going to do follow-up. And you're going to be focused on finding buyers and sellers. Then you're going to partner with active agents so that when you're doing your 9 to 5 during the day, you're able to turn to Fred or Sally in the office and you're going to say, can you take these folks out and show them properties and pay me a portion of the commissions as a referral fee? That way you'd be able to give the client professional service. You'd still control the relationship by following up in the evenings. Hey, how did it go? Did you see something you liked? You'd stay in touch with them so that when you became full-time and it came time for them to sell your home, you'd get them as a repeat client. And you'd be a professional by working together. So a lot of people don't know about that portion of the referral basis. I would rather get 25% of the commissions than 100% of nothing because I couldn't take them out because I had a 9 to 5.
That makes sense.
I love it when it makes sense. I've tried to break it down and be as straightforward and as simple as I can, not really sugarcoat it. Can it be done? And the answer is yes. But you have to be as focused when you get the license as you are currently when you're thinking about doing the real estate courses and studying and becoming a professional. And I kind of pride myself on that customer service aspect of it, and it's got to be a win-win or no deal. Okay, so I beat on that part pretty good. I'm going to open it up right now to some other questions. So, Rolando, you got questions? I see a couple other folks that have dialed in. Natasha, I know you got us on mute, but if you got any questions, fire away. Teresa? Crickets. I have absolutely covered absolutely everything that you need.
I have a friend that's in real estate here in Clarksville, and he said as soon as I get my license, he's going to sign me up with Keller Williams.
Perfect. I'm not here to step on any toes. About 95% of the people that contact me do not have a prior relationship. I'm going to show you the culture in action right now. As Teresa, I would say that most definitely. When you join the company, they're going to ask you, who is the individual that took the time, that worked with you, that was able to help you out? And I want you to name your friend.
Okay.
I'm here to pay it forward. This industry has been so good to me that I'm going to take my time and I'm going to help you out and I'm going to validate what your friend has been talking about as kind of an independent source. David, if you're not connected with someone, then I would be honored and humbled that you'd say, Robert Earl, he took the time. He's the one that's been a phone call away. He's the one that has helped me get over the hump. And then he'll be available to me as a ongoing resource once I'm active and licensed. And you know what? He may even help me at one point bring other agents into the company and participate in the profit share program, just something I haven't even really touched upon. So great, Teresa. I'd encourage you that's the connection you're going to make. For others of you that don't have, I'll make the introduction to the team leader. Not a problem. Anybody else? Don't be shy. There are no dumb questions, because when you ask the question and you look on my Q&A on yourcbl.com, somebody's probably already answered it, or I'll be covering it in an upcoming video.
So just out of curiosity, you get, for doing this, you're going to get some kind of commission, or do you get some, when we get signed up under you, for example? Does that helps you out financially in a way? It never is a part of the commission, so that's a great thing. And let's talk about even where, Teresa, with your situation for your friend that's signing up. Keller Williams offices are structured in such a way that roughly 48% of the profits go back to the associates that help the company grow. Not commissions, not revenue sharing. It is the profits, because we're a business. We want to be profitable. It's the profits of the office go back to those that help the company grow.
Now, why is that important? Well, if you sell a home for a privately owned brokerage or a brokerage that has Wall Street shareholders, when you sell another home, somebody got richer. In the case of Keller Williams, why would somebody want to help you as a brand new agent, Teresa, coming into the office? Why are our classes taught by our associates that are actually in the field, our top associates? Because they're participating in the gift of profit share. And if I can get you to sell a home, or the person that brings you on board, or even if you're not in my downline, if I can get you to sell another home, there's more revenue in the office. We really didn't increase expenses, so we have more profit. And would you like to have a slice of a pie that is 12 inches, or would you like a slice of a pie that is 20 inches?
Well, 20 inches, I guess.
That's why I want to get you into productivity.
Right.
That's why your friend would want you to get it. That's why Sally in the office, that has absolutely nothing to do with being your sponsor or not your sponsor, she wants you to be more productive because she has other people that she has sponsored in. It is so unique that it's been written up as a business case study by Stanford University. It's taught in a Stanford Business School. It's also at Yale University has done a business case study on our culture and primarily our profit share system. So great question, Teresa. No, I will never make a dime off of your commissions.
So in this particular company, it's good. It's not a dog-eat-dog world. It's actually a team. It's better to be a team.
Together, everyone achieves more. We want to have a atmosphere of what I like to call co-opetition. Yeah, that I have the opportunity to be able to help to pay it forward. It fits into our culture. We have our own 501(c) that takes care of our own agents. We have our own semi-trucks that were dispatched to Hurricane Harvey, that were dispatched to Irma in Florida to help our associates. That's not dog eat dog.
That's amazing, yeah. My friend hasn't told me anything about this. He just said get my license and then we'll go from there.
Well, understand, and you know what? That's really his role. His role is to say, get your license, I'll connect you with the team leader. The team leader knows what they're doing. I, as an entrepreneur, or shall I say an intrapreneur in the company, have taken it upon myself to take time out of this. The company's been very, very good to me. Keller Williams paid me more last year than I paid them. But I have hustled since 2003 to bring people on board and have now made this even more of a focus, thus this time in this meeting.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You got it. Slightly passionate about it. I hope you can tell.
I can.
Robert?
Yes.
In the first year, I'm sure there's been studies done. What's the average the bottom of the average income? Do you know? Is there studies done on that?
You just used one of two words that I absolutely despise.
Okay. Average,
and people will also ask me, how do I become a broker? I don't want to associate with anything that has the word broke in it. Average. David, are you an average individual?
No.
Then why are we having this conversation? Okay, there, I covered it. I took care of that part. No. Real estate covers the bell curve more than any other industry. And there are people that are on the right side that are making phenomenal incomes, and there are people on the left side that have it as a hobby. There's a joke in Florida that when you get pulled over by a police officer, he asks for your licenses, your driver's license and your real estate license. Because there's that many people that have them and they do it as a hobby, or they have a significant other that it's making an income, et cetera, et cetera. The average, if you take the total number of transactions divided by the total number of agents, this applies across the country. It applies in my area. The average is about 4 homes per year. I'll let that sink in for just a second, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So our training, our initial training with Ignite is geared to have you doing 12 to 16 transactions a year. At a $200,000 sales price, your mileage may vary, but there is no set commission. But let's say that's about $6,000 per. You're in a 60, 70,000. You got to pay taxes. You got to pay your split out of it. When you take the advanced next level of a 36, 12, 3 or a focus on that, down you're doing about 36 transactions a year. If you're in a bold program, our training program, within the 8-week period, folks are doing anywhere from 14 to 17 transactions during that 8-week period.
Wow.
Equal opportunity, unequal reward. So the typical agent, according to the National Association of Realtors, makes about $60,000. I've never met a typical person. So I skated around it, but I went directly to it. Your team leader that I'm going to connect you with, a team leader is different than a broker. A broker is responsible for signing the paperwork in the office, for being in compliance. A team leader is focused on growing the office and then growing the productivity of the agents within the office. A typical real estate Keller Williams market center on 20 business days has anywhere from 30 to 40 training events. I've got a blog posting on that at yourcbl.com showing you a typical training calendar. Those training opportunities are geared from brand new agents to agents that are experience levels such as myself. So there's a varying degree of those classes that are going on. And they are all focused upon you getting to a point of productivity. Because if you're not selling homes, we're not making money as far as the brokerage is concerned. Win-win or no deal. That team leader is focused on the training calendar. They have developed their staff, whether it be a productivity coach, an assistant team leader, that's focused on you. They're not going to babysit you. They're not going to pick up the phone and call you and say, David, where were you? You weren't at the training. Now, some do, but that's not what their focus is. They're going to provide the opportunity. They're going to provide the water. You've got to be the horse that comes up to it and drinks.
Straight up.
Yep. Fantastic questions. Anybody else saw a couple other phone numbers that connected on?
Robert, can you tell me what the split is for Keller Williams and their agents?
Great question. And I'm going to give this as a two-phase. One is when you have the discussion with the team leader, you're going to want to know specifically from them what their particular office is, because for newer agents, a number of the offices have a mentorship program when you're first getting up and running. And obviously for a win-win, you've got to take care of that mentor. I currently have 3 agents that I mentor in my own particular market center. They're going to be on a little bit different split of their initial up and running. So does that make sense? I can't speak to that, and I can't keep track of over 700 market centers. I will tell you that the framework of the system has 2 components to it. One is that you're going to be on a 70-30, with 70% to you after you get through that initial mentorship program, 70% to you, 30% to the market center. There will also be a 6% of the total commission fee that will go to Keller Williams International as a royalty fee. This is where we're different, and this is where I'm going to answer the question to you a little bit different as well. In my top 2 years of production, my commission split was 95% to me of total dollars, 5% to Keller Williams, whether it be the market center or international. Because once we've paid the 30%, we have a cap. That cap varies depending upon market center. The area of the country I'm in, that cap is $18,000. In Manhattan, New York, it's going to be in the range of about $50,000. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive to be there. But once you've reached that cap for your anniversary year, every dollar that you make after that point is 100% to you, 0% to the office. So if I sell a lot of homes when I've capped, or I do a larger level of production, if I'm not average and I do a larger level of production and I'm collecting 100%, I'm offsetting. So does that make sense as to the split or the calculations of it?
Yes. Thank you.
Great conversation to have with the specific, again, team leader as to their particular office. I don't want to step on any of their toes. And I could know what the Charlotte Market Center was, Charlotte, North Carolina, because somebody joined there last month. And the Associate Leadership Council could have gotten together and said, we need to focus on our new agents more. They could have implemented a new productivity coaching program, and there'd be a requirement for you to be involved with the productivity coach. You don't understand this, my first brokerage that I was with for the first 2 years, I started it at 50-50. I earned my way up to an 80% to me, 20% to the office, but the 20% never went away. And then when it came January 1st of the following year, I went back to a 65% to me, 35% to the office, and I never got to a point of 100%. It was take on every deal, because they were trying to fund the promotion of their brand. So always a loaded question when folks will say also, well, we've got you'll only pay a desk fee or only pay a fee. Well, in the Keller Williams system, you only pay when you've been productive, when you've actually sold a home, and so you're not paying in a month when you didn't sell. David, that fits for you as you're getting up and running. You'll have a minimal fee to be part of the Keller Williams system, anywhere from $50 to $100 a month. But there's also the cap portion of it. And then the question would be, if I'm paying money, what am I getting back for it? I'm getting world-class training and support in my office.
Very good.
So there we go. I try to gear these to be about 30 minutes. We've gone a little bit longer than that. Let me give you a couple bits of information. My email. You guys have been getting my email, but my email is the Earl. That's as in the one and only. THEEARL @kw.com. You can drop me a note if I'm with buyers or sellers. That's going to be my primary focus. And then I'll have scheduled time, so I might answer back at an odd hour or odd time. But I'm here to support. I'm here to help. And just make note that you were on this.
Great. Thank you.
Great. Any last questions? Fantastic. I appreciate and am humbled that you guys would take your time today to go through this. I'm here to assist, here to make the connection. Drop me an email and I'll get you connected with a local office. You also can have the opportunity to go to kw.com. kw.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see Find an Office. You could search for your own particular area, reach out to the team leader. Don't feel slighted if they hand you off to a productivity coach or an assistant team leader. They sometimes do that with new agents. They have to be efficient. But by being in touch with them, all I ask is that when they say, how did you get in touch with us? You just say Robert Earl, E-A-R-L. So until next time, y'all, make it a great day.
Thank you. You did a
All right,
great job.
thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Take care, y'all.
Thank you very much.